This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
Day 2 of practice leading up to the Browns game versus the Green Bay Packers. And an interesting development on the Green Bay side of things, which is Tucker Kraft, their star tight end. He's really big into what the Green Bay Packers do. So, it's not like a minor deal. This is a huge part of that offense for Green Bay. And keep in mind, the offense that really hasn't seen a challenge that's quite like the Browns defense, right? The Browns offense is what it is. But if we look at Green Bay's schedule, let's look at their schedule. I know they played the Commanders last week. The Commanders defense is not what the Browns defense is. And I think they played the Lions week 1. And the Lions defense should be on that quality that the Browns are. But week 1, they did not play very good defense for whatever reason. So that's going to be a big deal, right? Them coming into this game a little shorthanded versus one of their bigger challenges here. I would say that the Browns defensive line is going to get a good amount of pressure, hopefully, on Jordan Love. And if Jordan doesn't have that outlet or that tight end or, Tucker Kraft there to help in protections as well, well, then that could be a bad situation for Green Bay's offense and maybe even create some turnovers, which, again, if the Browns want to win this week, there's no way around it. They're going to have to get some turnovers. There is more news on the injury front, though. It's not just for the Packers. The Browns have some injury news pop up as well. Let's look at it. So we're looking at the injury report. Again, Tucker Kraft popping up on the injury report today. Apparently suffered a knee injury in practice. They're already going to be short Jaden Reed as well. So, they're not coming into this game in the strongest position offensively. And this game's going to match up pretty interesting, right? Because you have the Packers offense, which I would say is the strength of that team right now. Well, not the strength of that team. The Packers defense, my bad, which is the strength of that team right now. Michael Parsons playing at a high level, going against the weakness of the Cleveland Browns. And then you have the Browns defense going against what is the weaker part of the Packers, which is their offense. I wouldn't call it a weakness, but it is the weaker part of the Packers, right? The more vulnerable part. So, whoever takes a more advantage this week of that, which most people assume the Packers will because of Packers defensive disparity versus the Browns offensive disparity and vice versa, is just a little bit stronger for the Packers, right? And that's why the Packers are going to come into this game heavily favored. But there's a chance that the Browns offense can run the ball well this week, or, Joe Flacco plays better than he did last week. And then all of a sudden things get evened out and the Browns defense gets the advantage and helps them win this game. The thing that's going to help the Browns defense get the advantage, by the way, turnovers. They just got to get them. No way around it. Got to get them. All right. But that's really it for the Packers injury report, right? Nothing else really that notable. They got a lot of guys limited, but I think most of these guys are going to play. If you look at the Browns, second DNP for Joe Bitonio. Now, Joel did speak to the media today and inferred that, he's going to try to play, and he thinks that he's going to play in this game. We'll see. The back with Joe Bitonio is a big issue. Given that it is a big issue, I'm not surprised that he's not practicing today, and he probably won't practice tomorrow. So I don't know how much his practice status is going to matter for his week 1 status. I think they're going to give him a try. They're going to give him a go in the game. The question isn't really will Joe Bitonio start the game, is if Joe Bitonio is going to finish the game for the Cleveland Browns. More injury-related stuff to get into, but before I do that, I want to thank my sponsor for today, Sleeper. Hey, I've been using the Sleeper app for years as a fantasy football app, but it has so much more to offer. NFL season is in full swing. There's so much going on. And another feature I like to use on Sleeper is the picks feature. Now, I just used this feature last week, put up some predictions, and all those predictions ended up being right. Ended up making about $50 from the whole thing. And if you want to join in on the fun, make sure that you sign up for the Sleeper app. Use my promo code Worst Take when you sign up and get a match of 100% on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. A 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take on the Sleeper app. Make sure you check it out if you haven't before. I want to thank Sleeper again for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to it. There is some good news on this injury report. Malik Collins is back at practice after missing yesterday. It was non-injury related. Corey Bojorquez is back full practice, so he seems to be over that ankle injury, which is great because he's the best special teamer we got by a large mile. And boy, do we need the special teams to just be neutral. I'm not even going to get to the point where I'm going to delude myself into thinking that special teams could be positive for the team. It's been such a disaster. And, people throw around this coach should be fired, this coach should be let go pretty easily. But I feel like people have been pretty patient with Bubba Ventrone for like 3 or 4 years now. And we're still dealing with weird decisions in punt return, whether we catch or let it roll. It seems like our returners never have great logic for that. I don't understand it. We're still having issues with punt protection and field goal protection. We're still having issues in punt coverage and in kick coverage. You want to be mad at the field goal kicking and blame that at the special teams coach? I will be fair enough to Bubba Ventrone to say that that's not really his problem as much as that is more on, in my personal opinion, I think it's on the Browns front office for not just cycling through these kickers more often. But that's a problem that nobody has a great answer to, right? Even my answer to it is a pure hypothesis. So like whatever, right? Kicker issues happen. Can't really do anything but try to get through them. But kick coverage issues, those don't just happen. Punt coverage issues, those don't just happen. Punt protector issues, those don't just happen, right? Like if Ronnie Hickman can't handle the punt protector role, well, you got Aiden Huntington right there. Like, put a big body there if it's necessary. We wait too late until it's a disaster to do anything when it comes to special teams. And it's just, I don't know, man. But Bojorquez being back is good. I just need the special teams this week to be neutral. Like, I'm just asking you not to be a part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, just if I get to the post-game video and I feel no need to talk about special teams, I will be happy. If I get to that damn post-game video and I got to talk about special teams gave up this, I'm going to be furious. It's 2 weeks in a row. The special teams unit cost you 4 points against the Cincinnati Bengals in missed field goals kicks. They cost you 10 points in bad coverage. And this is ridiculous. The Browns are going to struggle to score points, and we're giving up 14 on special teams. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's get to the next thing on the injury report. Carter's back at practice. Don't really care either way if he plays or not. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Don't think he's that much of a factor. Hopefully he proves me wrong and returns one to the house because, again, I would love special teams to be positive. But I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, man, they got to watch out. We got Carter back. I forgot the man's first name. Like, I ain't even going to act like he going to be that much of a factor. All right. Jack Conklin, limited at practice. Again, he's kind of similar to Joe, where I don't think he's going to practice full before playing. But maybe he plays. He was a game time decision last week. Hopefully the week of rest can have him out there. And boy, do we miss this man. This man needs to play. Right now Cornelius Lucas is not doing a good job holding it down at right tackle. You need Jack Conklin back. Grant Delpit was full today, so that's good news. Denzel Ward was full today. That's good news. Here's the thing that's puzzling me, and again, it's going to start another rant here, so sorry about that if you're not a big fan of rants. But Mike Hall, knee injury, did not practice today. Now, this seems like it was part of the plan. That's what they keep saying with Mike Hall. And I understand and appreciate a plan. more than anybody, right? But at some point, I got to ask some questions about the plan. So Mike Hall didn't go on the PUP list. And by the way, if you don't know, if you're on the PUP list, that means you'll miss the first 4 weeks of the season. So Mike Hall did not go on the PUP list because I presumed because he was closer to playing than not. And here's the thing that's baffling me right now. Mike Hall will likely not play in this game. He was on the bike today at practice. So he's likely not going to play in this game. And they're not telling us that there was some kind of setback for Mike Hall. And every time they ask about Mike Hall, they're saying, well, this is part of the plan. I got one big question here. If this was part of the plan and you knew that the plan would take 3 weeks, why wasn't he put on PUP? That's a serious question. So we can give him back that 1 week earlier. And I'm not even sure we're going to get him back next week. When it looked like he was going to play week 2, maybe even week 3, and you get 2 games in, I understand not putting him on PUP for that. But when we're at the point to where it looked like he's not going to play, and look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he practices tomorrow full, and then he plays on Sunday. But this don't feel like he going to play this week. This feel like last week, where it was obvious he's not going to play. And I brought this up earlier, that the timeline with Mike Hall had been shifting for like 3 months, right? Because before in training camp, before in OTAs, they thought they'd get him back for training camp. And then we get to training camp and he's on IR. And then we get to the end of the season and they're like, hey, he's not going to start the season on IR. He's going to start the season on 53. I'm thinking he's about to be back. He's practicing. He's got a brace on. He's about to be back. Well, it's the process and everything. So he's not going to play week 1. Understood and understandable. And then, he didn't play week 2. Okay. Understandable. If he doesn't play week 3, this stops being understandable. You feel me? Like, this stops going from something I can be reasonable about to something it's only reasonable to question why did we do it in the first place. And the only reason I'm being extra heavy on my scrutiny here with this situation is because this kind of thing has happened so many times with this specific iteration of the Cleveland Browns. Where somebody has an injury, we hear a timeline, that timeline shifts, and then all of a sudden, we're like 3 weeks later, we're like, hey, what's up with JOK? Is he ever going to come back? Are you ever going to open the window? Well, we're going to take it week by week. We've been taking it week by week with JOK. It took like 15 weeks until they finally just ruled him out for the season. This is frustrating. I don't think it has to be this frustrating. I don't know what the plan is here. If there was a setback, I would love it. They just told us. There's no shame in telling us it's going to be a setback. It's not like the Packers are like got 5 plays in thinking Mike Hall is going to play. Their game plan is not going to change either way. Their protections are going to be the same. So if there was a setback, let us know. If there wasn't a setback, then please answer to me why we've held a roster spot for Mike Hall for 3 weeks when we knew he wasn't going to play. Why not just put him on PUP? He could do everything he's doing right now on PUP. Why isn't he on PUP? I don't get it. I'm baffled. Now, that's pending that he doesn't play this. If he plays this week, I'll shut up and I'll admit I'm wrong and whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But if he does not play this week, and it looks like he might not play in week 4, I feel like it's very valid to ask yourself, what are we doing? Like, this makes no sense here. Why are we doing this? Right? And that's going to be a big question. So I don't know what's going on with the Mike Hall thing. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. But, I think some people should, right? All the silly stuff that people get mad at the front office and head coach for. This is a legitimate one where I'm like, hey, we gonna pay attention to this? Nobody wants to pay attention to that. Everybody wants to pay attention like the stupid, the silly stuff that's really easy to debunk, right? But this is like, this has been so many times. This is like even the most reasonable Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry supporter, has to look at this and go, yeah, man, this is very strange. And it feels like it's just y'all. Right? I can't say that this happened under other coaches. I don't think it has. But this group, this happens a lot. I don't know why. Look, it might not even be their decision. It might be the medical staff's decision. I don't know, man. But I feel like Andrew Berry kind of gets the final say on whether he goes on PUP or not. Right? Like, again, I just don't. There's no reasonable explanation for him not being on PUP if he doesn't play this week. There's just no reasonable explanation for it, especially if there has been no setback and this has been the plan. Like, the plan has always been, we're going to play in week 4, week 5. Well, why isn't he on PUP? Doesn't make sense. Either they're lying to us when they talk about it, or they're really holding a roster spot for almost a month to get a guy to play in week 4. And I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. You know what I mean? Especially for a team that needs an extra corner bad. If we were to keep 4 quarterbacks, were we going to do this with Mike Hall too? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Maybe since they were able to trade the 4th quarterback, they were like, let's just waste that roster spot on Mike Hall instead of just using it to get somebody else and putting Mike Hall on PUP. I don't know. Right? And maybe I'm misinterpreting the PUP rules. And maybe if he was on PUP, he couldn't play till week 6 or something like that. I don't know, man. But it feels like everything he's done right now, he could do on PUP. Right? Like, I don't think you could limit it practice on PUP. So there's that. But you could do drills, right? If he was limited, it's all you doing is drills. I don't know. I don't like that. Y'all, that's what's going on with the Cleveland Browns, though. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.